What if the two most powerful leaders on Earth, Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping, could live forever? Not just for a lifetime, not even for 1,000 years. I mean literally forever. By 230, you'll discover a terrifying secret that could change everything we know about power and humanity itself. Hey, I'm Novex from Deep Horizons, and this isn't just science fiction anymore. In September 2025, Putin and Xi were caught on a hot mic discussing living to 150 years old through organ transplants. But what if they didn't stop there? What if they achieved true immortality? You're about to see how two immortal autocrats could reshape human civilization forever. Here's what we'll uncover. First, how their immortality breaks the natural cycle of power. Then, the human cost of eternal dictatorship. And finally, how the entire world order collapses under immortal rule. Let's start with what seems impossible. September 2025. Putin tells Xi through translators that human organs can be continuously transplanted so people can become younger and even achieve immortality. Xi responds that humans might live to 150, but imagine if they crack the code completely. In our scenario, both leaders undergo experimental treatment in 2030 gene therapy, organ replacement, consciousness transfer, whatever it takes. By 2035, they've achieved biological immortality. Their cells no longer age. Their minds remain sharp. Their bodies stay strong. But here's the thing about power, it's designed to change hands. Democracy depends on elections. Monarchy relies on succession. Even dictatorships eventually face leadership transitions. Immortal leaders shatter this fundamental cycle. Now let's get personal. You're living under an immortal dictator. Your grandfather lived under Putin. Your father lived under Putin. And now, so will your children. And their children. Forever. Imagine the psychological weight. Hope for change dies because change becomes impossible. 3 generations of Russians know only Putin's rule. 4 generations of Chinese know only Xi's authority. The human spirit begins to break under eternal oppression. Here's where it gets. Deadly immortal leaders don't just refuse to step down, they stop caring about consequences entirely. Why worry about public opinion when you have infinite time to outlast any opposition? Now zoom out by 2060. Both leaders have ruled for over 40 years. Their inner circles have died and been replaced multiple times, but they remain, accumulating more power with each passing decade. Economic systems freeze. Why innovate when the same person controls everything indefinitely? Political institutions become meaningless puppet shows. Military officers serve immortal commanders who remember their great-grandfathers. Governments worldwide panic. How do you negotiate with someone who can wait centuries to get what they want? Traditional diplomacy crumbles when your opponent has literally infinite patience. But here's what no one anticipated. Immortal leaders don't just consolidate power, they begin viewing mortal humans as a completely different species. When you live forever, a human lifetime seems like a summer vacation. The psychological gap becomes unbridgeable. So in just 30 years, we've seen how immortal Putin and Xi break the power cycle, crush human hope, and create societies frozen in time. Traditional geopolitics collapses when your opponents think in centuries, not decades. But wait, it gets exponentially worse. By 2100, something unprecedented happens. Other world leaders, terrified of immortal autocrats, begin their own immortality research. Soon you have immortal presidents, immortal kings, immortal dictators across the globe. But immortal leaders don't just compete, they wage immortal wars. Conflicts that could last centuries. Resources become infinite-term investments. Nuclear weapons aren't deterrents anymore when your opponent can rebuild for 500 years if needed. Imagine World War III, but it lasts 200 years because the leaders starting it are still alive to continue fighting. Could humanity survive this? History suggests maybe. Look at North Korea 3 generations under the Kim dynasty. Yet people adapt. Some scientists argue immortal leaders might actually bring stability, no more succession wars, no more power transitions. But here's the terrifying reality. Every historical tyranny ended because the tyrant died. Remove death and you remove humanity's ultimate escape valve. This thought experiment reveals something profound about power and mortality. Death isn't just biological, it's democracy's safety mechanism. Term limits, age limits, natural succession. These aren't just political concepts, they're humanity's protection against eternal oppression. Maybe the fragility of human life is actually our greatest strength. It forces leaders to work within human timescales, to care about legacies, to eventually step aside. So, what would you do if your leader became immortal? Drop your survival strategy in the comments. And if this scenario terrified you as much as it did me, Smash that like button and subscribe to Deep Horizons for more mind-bending what-ifs that'll keep you thinking long after the video ends. Click here to find out the real truth of the US healthcare system.